So you were right after all. It is indeed a Medium Gutamaya ship. The Corsair, as it has been named, is the upcoming ship and the first of 4 ships announced to be released this year, which, as it so happens, is indeed that medium-sized Gutamaya, which fills the void of Imperial design ships, to which, to this date, we never had a ship in that hull size. Very little has been announced of the ship besides its looks, except for the fact that it will sport size 7 thrusters, which probably hint at the size of it being a larger sized medium ship, as if that was not the case, it would be an ungodly fast ship, which it may still be considering how significantly oversized the thrusters seem to be for a ship of that class. But in order to know more about the specifics of a ship, we will need to wait until further information is released. And again, apologies for not having videos or props, but as you can probably tell, I am traveling for work. I'm actually in Germany right now. So very sorry that I can't actually pepper you with the content that has been shared to date and that I'm sure other creators have, which I'll probably be able to share in the next few days. But for the time being, you will just have to hear me babbling about what's happening and what's going on. So let's stick to the news. 4 new ships. The first is a Corsair, which is the Medium Gutamaya, which I'm sure you've seen the screenshots all over the place. And if you've seen the screenshot to this video, that is the ship. And again, I'm sure other creators will be littering you with content that shows the particular videos of the ship itself. No additional information with regards to the additional ships beyond the Corsair. What we do know is that there is an additional feature beyond the actually 2 additional features beyond trailblazers being released today. The first being dubbed Vanguards and being released over the summer. Vanguards has to do with essentially an overhauled squadrons setup. You can think about it a little bit as like Squadrons 2.0, just like Power Play 2.0 overhauled the Power Play system. Squadrons 2.0 will overhaul the Squadron system. Sorry, Vanguard, as it is called. Will overhaul the overall Squadron system, and hopefully between us, it'll do a better job than Power Play 2.0, because that was not exactly greatly done. But at least from what we're hearing right now, the initial indication is that that kind of overall seems to be going in the right direction, with a like of a module bank that allows commanders in the same Vanguard or Squadron to share modules or possibly even ships, which is a good thing. And multiple ways to, again, collaborate, share goals, provide perks and incentives as part of playing cooperatively towards common objectives, which is all good things. There's also an additional feature touted for the fall/the end of the year, which we know nothing about, so we can't really talk about other than saying that it's in the works, or something is in the works, rather. In addition to the ships, in addition to a roadmap, the Frontier Unlocked update obviously is notable for the conversation around Trailblazers, which is the update that just released today in beta, in which includes the ability to begin the process of colonizing systems by requesting and deploying colonization beacons through a first-come, first-service process, which I don't particularly like. And I've actually had an exchange on X with David Braven himself about that particular design feature, with some back and forth around how that came about. And I think the understanding is that, like Braven called this first come, first service mechanism to pick systems unavoidable. I've challenged him politely in that regard. He acknowledged that it isn't strictly unavoidable, but there was definitely bureaucracy involved with doing alternate systems like auctions or lotteries. We agreed that it was a trade-off, and we agreed to let it be and see how it plays out in practice before we pass judgment on whether it works reasonably well or not. But anyway, besides that exchange on X, and by the way, for the record, I'm not a big fan of X. I use it because our front development friends are there. And until they use it, I will use it. It's not about politics. It's not about personalities. It's just about practicality of communicating with the creators of the game. That's it. But back to news. The Trailblazers update is notable for having increased the expansion range from the meager 10 light years that was originally included in the prior announcement to what is now 16 light years, which is a bump up and is welcome. Still not a lot, but better than before. So we'll take it. We'll see in practice how limiting that is. Again, something to try and practice before we're able to pass judgment on how it's going to work. There's also a bunch of information pertaining to colonization and the fact that you can build multiple facilities at a time once you become the system architect and deploy a colonization beacon. Again, which I guess is a good thing. The fact that you're going to be paid on a weekly basis for the facilities that you have deployed. And like all good things, above 5 million credits a week, you will also be taxed, because what is life without taxes? So there's that. There's also the ability, apparently, to deploy planetary installations in addition to space installations, which is the thing that interests me actually the most. I'm actually quite curious to see how that plays out. And the fact that you're, for an ARCS fee, able to give a custom name to said facilities, so which are otherwise generated by the random name generator system of Elite Dangerous, even though that can be rerolled for up to 5 times without paying a dime, or without paying like a single ARCS. So those are the salient things that I picked up from the materials that were shared pertaining to both Trailblazers as an update, the Corsair as a new ship, the overall roadmap for the game, including the announcement of Vanguards and of the additional feature. Stay tuned in the next coming days for a more in-depth review that actually uses some of the assets that we have, and more importantly, takes a hand-on approach to the update itself and gives you my impression of how it works in practice. Glory to mankind. Commander Meccan, over and out.